Evangelical right-wing radio host Brian Fisher spoke about the Ashley Madison hack and made some hilarious points.
And I believe that pornography could be and ought to be illegal. It ought to be against the law. You know, the First Amendment protects freedom of speech. It does not protect the freedom or the right to take your clothes off and have sex in front of a camera. That's one of the ways in which the First Amendment has just been mangled completely out of all recognition. You know, on this Ashley Madison website, which is designed to promote adulterous liaisons, I think that is a website that by its very nature ought to be illegal. And you say, well, why? Well, we have laws against shoplifting. Do you think we ought to have laws against shoplifting? Well, yeah. Okay, well, why? I mean, that's a choice that somebody makes. They can make a choice to shoplift or not. Why do you want to interfere with their freedom to choose? If they want to shoplift, why don't you let them? Isn't this a free country? Isn't this all about choice? Who are you to legislate? Who are you to judge? Who are you to impose your morality on the rest of us? Let them make their own choice. And you say, well, no, we couldn't do that because there are shopkeepers that would be hurt. They'd go out of business. They could be bankrupted if we didn't have some kind of consequence for shoplifting because somebody's going to get hurt. That would be your point. Somebody's going to get hurt. Well, what happens when you have adultery? Somebody, by definition, gets hurt.
So pornography should be outlawed and cheating or affairs or adultery should be outlawed. No, Brian, the reason why robbery is wrong is not the reason you're stating. The reason why robbery is wrong is because you are taking somebody else's property. So it's not, there's no consent there where they say, hey man, you can have my car. You just took the fucking car and it's not yours. Now, when you talk about pornography or when you talk about adultery and affair, you have consenting parties. When somebody is watching porn and taking care of business, they're not hurting anybody. There's no lack of consent involved. It's one person doing what they want out of their own volition through their own free will, and there is no downside to it. In fact, at the end, there's a big upside. And when it comes to cheating, now that's in a weird category because I think it's fair to say that most people would say, and I would agree with it, that you shouldn't do it. It's not advisable, especially if you made vows and all that stuff. You shouldn't do it, but if it does happen or when it does happen, you have two parties that are consenting to do something. Now, somebody else might get hurt emotionally, but we don't legislate to try to prevent people from getting hurt emotionally because then everybody in the world would be filing a lawsuit every 7 seconds when they get a mean Twitter comment. You know how many lawsuits I could have filed at this point if that was the case? You hurt somebody's feelings emotionally. We got to do something about this. I would have had to sue 27,000 people. So he totally misses the point, but I mean, is he even really trying to make sense? Because we know where this comes from. What's so scary about Brian Fisher is that apparently he does read more of the Bible than other Christian fundamentalists do, and it doesn't have the normal effect on him where people read it and they go, this can't be right. I don't believe this. He reads it and he goes, yes, no gays, no adultery, no affairs. So wait, let me get this right then. So if somebody has sex before they get married, would you lock them up, Brian? If you have, a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old and they have sex, would you say, I gotta lock you up, I don't have a choice? The answer to that is almost certainly yes. And it's yes for just pornography. If you locked up everybody in America who engaged in, watched, pleasured themselves to porn, there would be nobody left. I was trying to think of a number that's somewhat realistic. There would be nobody left. Who hasn't? Seriously? Even the people who say, I'm the most moral, I would never. Somebody like Rick Santorum. Oh, don't look at his browser. I don't want to see what's on his browser.